With the economy being so overpriced, quitting your job is something that you really need to consider. If you are going to quit your job, take some things into consideration. But before we get into that, the receipts show people are quitting their job because they are too stressed out.
I'm a quitter and I'm proud of it because they tell you not to quit, but it's like you should quit if it's some bullshit in your face and they're playing in your face. Quit the job, quit the job. I decided that today I just feel like talking. I'm gonna share the story of the time that I didn't technically quit. I technically resigned, but I had changed my resignation from 2 weeks plus notice to the same day because they were fucking with me. So basically, I'm a social worker, and which is important because it means that I have clients and I have relationships with those clients. And so I was at this job that was totally toxic. They were losing multiple staff every single week. People who they just hired would quit. They just wouldn't come back the next week. Like, it was really, really bad. And but it paid really, really well, especially for social work. I don't know about anybody else, but it paid very, very well. So I was there for about 8 months, and then I finally was like, you know what, I just don't even want to do this anymore. I don't like the type of care that they're forcing me to give, and the stuff that they're asking me to do, I just don't like it. So I'm gonna be out, but I'm pretty, I try to be considerate of like closing out with my people and everything like that. So I gave them 2+ weeks. Now, within that 2 weeks notice, I had about 3 or 4 days scheduled off that they had already approved. Now, in my head, yes, I did already know that I was planning to quit. And yes, I did know that my notice might, interact with that time off, but also it's my motherfucking time off and I'm going to use it when I want, period. So, I had submitted my resignation. Now, mind you, they already approved the PTO. It was 2 or 3 days. I can't really remember. It was a while ago. But it was 2 or 3 days off within that 2+ week period that I had given notice that they had already approved. So the head of HR lady calls me one day and she's like, this is maybe like a couple days into my resignation notice. So this is maybe like 2 or 3 days into the like 2.5 week period. Right. So she calls me and she's like, hey, you have time off scheduled for next week and you're not going to be able to take that. And I'm like, why? It's already approved. What do you mean? She's like, we're short staffed. Now, mind you, as I've already given you context, they're short staffed because it's a terrible workplace. But whatever. So she's like, we're too short staffed for you to take the time off. I said, but you already approved it. She was like, yeah, basically, but you're leaving. And so da. So I said, listen, I'm taking that time off. So I can quit today. Or you can let me take the time off because I'm not working those days. Like I'm telling you right now, I'm not working those days. And if you're telling me I can't take it this week, it was the following week, then I'm just not working anymore. I was trying to help y'all out because I do know that you're short staffed and I do know that I would like to close out with my people and whatever. But if you're going to play in my face about it, then I'm just going to quit. So she played in my face and she was like, I literally said to her, like, okay, so you think like, so this is going to be my last day if you're saying I can't take the time off. She was like, okay. So I said, okay. So I updated my resignation. I sent her. The doctor that I was working with cried. Actually, no, I'm lying. I don't think she cried, but she hugged me for a really, really long time. It was so sad because I basically had to tell everybody surprise. And there were people in the office when I was on that phone call and they were like, what just happened? Because I was so calm. I wasn't mad. Because I knew they were always on BS, and especially the HR, they were always on BS. So it's like, it's not surprising that they did that. It's just really, really dumb. Like, because literally you're telling me you don't have enough people. I forget how many clients I had, but that was it was like 60 plus, or it was like an insane amount of clients I don't know if people are familiar with social. It was a crazy amount of clients to have. It was like 60 clients or something like that. So mind you, I'm not at this point, this was in the middle of the day. So there's no way I can notify all my clients. I already know that. That's going to have to be on them. And I feel bad, but also whatever. But I will say, what really made me feel a little bit better is that some of my clients, especially some of the more, what we would call challenging clients to work with, who I work with very well. I usually work very, very well with challenging clients. I get them all because rapport is like my thing. I'm very good at it. And one of the clients who had thrown multiple fits already before working with me in the office, it was a primary care office, my friends who had worked there told me that when he found out that I left, my manager tried to be like, oh, Iris like left. She just left, like tried to blame it on me and act like I'm a terrible person or a terrible social worker because I left without saying goodbye. And thank God, because like I said, rapport is my thing. My client said, Iris wouldn't do that. So what did y'all do to her? He literally asked my manager point blank. This is from a report from my friend, obviously, because I'm gone. But he asked my manager point blank, what did y'all do to her? Because she wouldn't just leave like that. She would not just leave like that. And I'm so happy for that because I don't have any way of contacting him because obviously HIPAA and stuff like that. But I'm so glad that people know my heart and know my spirit because you're right. I wouldn't do that unless they did some bullshit to me. And that's what it was. You're going to try to revoke the time. And I don't even remember what I was doing with the time off, to be honest. I might not have been doing anything, but it's the principle of the matter. You already approved it, so you're not going to take it back. I'm not working those days, period. Like, you've got me all the way fucked up. So anyway, this is just a story, I guess, about how social work, and that wasn't even a nonprofit, but like social work is like, they be fucking with people. And that's why when it's a good social worker, when it's a good therapist and they leave, it's always the agency's fault. It's always the agency's fault because they're doing something stupid like that. You're telling me you're short staffed, so you'd rather have me quit today than work for another 10, say, business days, because I'm taking away that 2 or 3 days that I was off, PTO, for another 10 business days, close out with everybody, wrap up stuff that I'm doing. I was like, at that point, it's like I'm updating my resignation letter and I'm really not doing shit else for the, because what am I can't notify 60 people in a day. It doesn't even make sense. So it's like I'm finishing my notes. So you can't say, I don't know, stole work or something. I'm finishing my notes. I'm finishing out the administrative stuff that is the only thing that company really cared about. And that's pretty much it. And I'll tell you what, the office manager was so shocked when he came in, because he came in to get my computer, I guess assuming probably, and rightfully so, I'm not mad at him for assuming this, but probably thinking I'm going to be pissed or I'm going to be angry, I'm going to be a hostile employee. But I was happy as hell because I didn't want to do another 2 weeks. I was doing that to be polite. Like, honestly, like you got me fucked up if you think I need. And the other thing is, like, when people are good at their job, you think I can't get another job? I've been one of the top workers at every place that I've worked. You think I can't get another job? And that's not even arrogant. That's like you met me, you hired me, you know that I'm good. My clients know that I'm good. I work with the people that other people can't work with. And you think I'm gonna be pressed about another job? Like,
Before you quit your job, you want to make sure that you have another job lined up. Never quit a job without having another job in place. And you want to make sure that you are going to start that job within the next 2 to 3 days, not 2 to 3 weeks. That way, you are able to stay on top of your bills. If you do not have another job lined up, then you want to make sure that you have at least 3 to 6 months of income saved up. That way, none of your bills get out of hand and you are not stressed out way more than the job that you just left stressed you. These are things that you need to consider before you just quit your job.
I did it. I'm turning in my badge for child protection and I am leaving my job. A job that I thought I would have and probably retire from. However, it's really frustrating when you work for an agency that is government based and the government is constantly telling you that there's nothing more that you need to do your job. They tell you it's okay that you're still living off of wages that are way too low. Legislators say that our job isn't hazardous as social workers, but they don't go into these homes without any form of protection and tell people that we're taking their children. We've been, especially from the people I know, in numerous situations that could have resulted in very different outcomes if any factor would have been different. They're telling me that being physically attacked from clients, degraded, threatened, is not a risk. And the fact that as far as they're concerned, we don't need raises. The person who makes sure that the children are safe, we don't need raises. The wages here are incredibly sad. Our starting pay is $28.03 a month. Nobody can live off that. But you're asking us to work 40 hours of overtime or more a month just to do the job. But we're not worth more. I think I'm gonna take myself to somewhere that truly appreciates how much I am worth. But I will always advocate for those who are left in child protection and those who feel especially stuck because they are coming up closer to retirement than myself. Because those are the people that are suffering.
Quitting your job is not necessarily a bad thing. You just want to make sure that you are going about it the right way. A lot of jobs don't do any more hiring at the end of the year. So if you were to quit your job in December, you might not find employment until the springtime or maybe even the summertime, because a lot of jobs do a lot of hiring at the summertime for summer surges. So you don't want to be in a position where you quit your job, you don't have any savings, and you don't have another job lined up. That could create a bigger disaster than you can imagine.
Quitting your job can absolutely be scary. But what can also be just as scary is staying in your job much longer than you should. I was in one of my social work jobs for 11 months, and they were the most grueling 11 months of my life. I came home every night and played video games until 3 a.m. just to numb the pain of the job. It finally got to a point where I knew I had to quit because I was absolutely exhausted. And I just couldn't go on like that. I had to make a choice for myself, to believe in myself and to believe that I deserved better. And so I quit with no backup plan. Now, I'm not necessarily recommending you do it that way, but for me, I had to. I was at a breaking point. And when I quit, I was lost. But it was in that moment that I worked with a career coach. And I learned just how valuable that investment truly was. I was able to make a big industry pivot with his help. And I finally found work that was meaningful, purpose-driven, and value-aligned, and a job that I loved. But I wouldn't have had that if I was too afraid to quit. I know everyone's situation is different and some people have more support than others. But you don't deserve to be miserable. You don't deserve to be underpaid and undervalued. And you don't have to live a life where you wake up every day hating your job. I got more out of my life and you can do it too. Good luck out there. I'm on your team.
So again, don't quit your job unless you have another job lined up. And if you do have another job lined up, you want to make sure that you're going to start that job within 2 to 3 days and not 2 to 3 weeks. Unless you need that much of a detox time or vacation time in between jobs. You want to make sure you have 3 to 6 months of income saved up just in case it takes a while for another job to come through and you don't want your bills to get out of control. Jump down in the comment section letting me know what you think about this video. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Turn on that notification bell so you know when I go live or drop another video. This is KKC and this was The Receipt Show. I'll catch you next time. Peace.